I mean, I can work with it. Don't get it twisted. I can work with it. So I mean,
Okay.
the feedback is not going to mess me up.
Okay. All right. We'll just roll with that real quick, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
Alrighty. All right. Are you in the live right now? Yeah, yeah. You're in the live right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in love. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just wanted to be sure that that you can hear. If you want to leave the live, you're more than welcome to. Just so you don't get that feedback, because I think you're already on Discord too. So
Yeah, I took it off.
okay. Okay. Awesome. Good to go, dude. All right. So, thanks guys for joining. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Just had to stick with this for this stream. Corey, thanks for coming on, man. Again, I
No
really
problem, man.
appreciate you taking. Yeah, guys, he's a super busy guy, and I don't want to take a whole lot of time, especially with his family. He's got a beautiful family, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, guys. So, all right, man. If
You
you
hear
want to
me?
go, yeah, I can hear you just fine, man.
Okay,
You're good.
cool. Okay, cool.
Alrighty. All right, Corey. If you want to start from the top, from the last thing we were talking about, and just tell your story.
Cool. Name's Corey Peterson. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Was born January 13th, 1987. Uh, Pretty much, I come from, I come from the slums of Brooklyn. That's what they want to call it. And pretty much was living in an environment that was pretty hostile. Had to learn how to survive it. Had to learn to adapt. But in the same token, wanted to broaden my horizons in different areas and really wanted to search other dreams instead of just being a statistic in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's just the layout for the summary.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um. So, your experience with because you were saying you were telling me your story of how the woman that you were with had done some really bad things, try to get you in jail and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. So pretty much, I was with the woman of my kids. I was with her for about 15 years, and in the process of that, in the 15 years of us being together, um, it started off good. Started off great. There was moments that I really felt like that was somebody I was going to stay with for the rest of my life. We had a long, we grew up together.
Yeah.
I just didn't know that there was other traits of her. When you're in love with somebody and you care about somebody, a lot of that stuff flies out the window because you're so focused on what you're happy about and what you see in the forefront, but you're not really checking the background per se, kind of being naive.
Yeah.
And going through that over time by seeing a repetitive cycle that she ended up doing, eventually it came to a head that, she wanted to cause more harm than actual good. And in the process of that, there was a fallout to where he was talking to some particular guy while we just had 15 years. Well, at the time it was going on 14. Yeah, it was going on 14 years, maybe 15. I'm not sure. And she told me on my birthday that she was with this guy, whatever the case may be. And that's kind of giving you like a clue of what's happening in the future for the next couple of episodes. Like there's a continuum after that. But if you want to talk about, I just want to kind of get off, just try to give you what happened a little bit, kind of give you a little exclusive. But
Yeah.
as far as the jail situation, yeah, I already knew that the girl already had an issue when she got me arrested. I should have left after that, but I didn't due to the fact that I had a family that we built in the process of that. And it was really hard for me to pretty much just leave that thing as much as I wanted to, knowing the fact that the kids was in her care. So I had to make some sacrifices. But when the court case happened, pretty much I won the court case. I beat the trial, got cleared of all charges. But yeah, pretty much she lied and said that I put hands on her. The cops came in, basically she lied and said on a scale of 1 to 10 she was at a 11. There was no marks, there was no bruises, but yet I had a whole red face that was swollen, and I ended up going to jail for 6 months. Got out. Well, no, got out. My brother got me out there. Was trying to put me in a little bit longer than pretty much the reason why they didn't. The reason why they was going to put me back in was because they didn't think I was doing domestic violence, but they never put the file inside my information. But yeah, those days were really bad. Pretty much got locked up with somebody who pretty much did. He killed like 4 or 5 people, unalived 4 or 5 people. That morning I was locked up with him. And pretty much they did the next court case on my birthday, and that was the second trial. We went all the way up to the third trial. But the third trial, they couldn't find nothing. I would have did 3 to 5 years for something I didn't even do. And that just comes to show that, if you get so lost into a toxic relationship and the woman is really no good for you, and you consistently go ahead and go further with that, you put yourself in a spiral. And it only gets worse from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, man, I hate that you went through that, dude. That's, I can. So I can't relate on the whole pushing for jail and all that stuff part, because something I didn't tell you about the last conversation that we had. There was some sketchy shit that my ex I saw her do. And before she went on deployment, she went over to a guy's house by herself to help him, move some stuff around, right? And then went to go get lunch, and then came back by themselves after a point in time. And I didn't really pay too much attention to that. And so, my gut was telling me something was up, and I just didn't listen to it. So I can relate to you on the whole unfaithful part, but dude, having her try to throw you in jail for that shit, that's crazy, dude.
I don't know.
That's absolutely crazy.
It's cool.
So
right.
how did you even get through that?
Honestly, good question. To get through that, pretty much the number one thing in a community of being black, you just gotta get over it. So that's how they want you to do. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean it's healthy and it's the right thing to do. And it wasn't. So pretty much after the third trial that we had, they cleared me of all charges. After I got cleared of all charges, they give you a gold certificate, and it pretty much clears you of any offense that you had. So after I got that, I was living with my mother at the time, because I was rebuilding myself. I had a girl I was talking to at the time, who I really cared about, and I was really focusing on just building that with her, and then just taking care of my children, as far as just, co-parenting. My mother started realizing that she wasn't taking care of the kids like she was supposed to. My oldest son almost could have died. Come to find out that I got a call by a neighbor that knew my kids and knew, their mother, and come to find out that my oldest son was on the roof of the building. And he's a type 1 diabetic. So you can imagine type 1 diabetic. We don't know, and he had sporadic of the building. So it wasn't like he had a balanced sugar level, because back in those days they didn't have the machinery that they have now to where everything is kind of programmed. No, we did algebra and made sure that we gave him the right dosage, and even that wasn't the right thing to do. Sometimes he'd go high, sometimes he'd go super low. And the fact that he wasn't being monitored underneath her care really, really worried me. And at the time, I didn't really have a structure of somebody saying, hey, you should take custody of the kids. I never got that structure. On top of that, my neck of the woods don't believe in the kids getting taken away from their mother. Well, I'm the first one to say that I changed all of that. So And that's later on in life. But at the end of the day, he was on a roof. Brooklyn to Mount Vernon is about 40 to 45 minutes. I got there in 15 minutes. And I climbed up the building like Assassin's Creed to get my kid off the roof. And when I went to go, because at the time she lived on the top floor. So when she lived on the top floor, come to find out, I looked at the window because I went back the same way. She was asleep. Luckily, the window was unlocked. I was able to open up the window with my son in my arm, and I tossed him in there because I didn't. If I fell, at least I knew he would have survived. Thank God, because it was a 4-story building. I got in there, and come to find out, she's knocked out. Tell her she's out of pocket for what she's doing. I tell her the situation. She didn't even try to take, accountability of it. Not only that, come to find out, our daughter that I think she was probably 2 at the time, maybe, 2 going on 3. She had the baby's, not the stroller, the baby carriage. Her bedding was literally cracking the main door entrance way. So literally anybody could have walked upstairs and grabbed her, and I would have never saw my daughter ever again. So, but that being said, it was just if I would have kept this going and just lived my whole entire life and this was going on, I would have been completely scared of my kids' well-being overall. And at the time I was in my 20s. I was still a child in a lot of ways mentally. So after that was all said and done, to make a change, I just said, hey, which I didn't want to go back to her. I really didn't want to be bothered with her anymore, but I just couldn't have my kids in her care at all. You know what I mean? And that takes a whole process to try to get, custody and emergency custody. Plus, they were kids. It wasn't like how they were now as teenagers, like how I was able to get them last year. It's different now. So from that point on, moving forward, I had no choice but to say, hey, we're going to make another change and we're going to do things differently. From everything that happened, we have to move. And literally, we moved with her grandmother to North Carolina. So that's a whole other story, which that'll be a whole nother video on my channel. So anybody's listening right now, if you can and truly appreciate it, go ahead and check out Core187 on my channel, where I literally talk about this proceeding that happened. It's literally saying being behind bars, and you'll see that there's a thumbnail that's jail. It's the only jail episodes. It's 1 and 2, but I will be doing 3 soon.
I am putting that in the chat. Just put that out in the chat. Yeah, guys, absolutely go and check out his channel. Go show him some love.
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man, of course. Got some really good wisdom. Very, very smart man. Very talented guy. Been through a lot, as we can see. That's a lot to go through, man. What was going through your head day by day?
Day by day, man. I'm surprised I don't have any type of mental situation. No, that's no disrespect to anybody who has that. You know what I mean? My heart goes out to those who went through certain similar things that I went through, and by what they had to, however they was able to recover or get themselves together. I commend you. The people don't. Pretty much my life day to day, it was just travesty, stressful, frustrating, because throughout the time, it was just, I didn't know how to manage it. Plus, on top of that, moving to a place that I knew nobody, but she knew people because her family moved down here. Mm-hmm. I was alone. I was isolated. You know what I mean? Yeah. I had nobody to go to. I had nobody to run to. You know what I mean? And it was and then on top of that, thinking that everything was cool because her father didn't really agree with me, and then the grandmother kind of followed suit of her son. It just made things problematic. So when I got to North Carolina, even though everybody's supposed to be, they said, oh, it's gonna be a clear thing. We ain't gonna talk about the past. Blah 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 blah. The past ended up following us to North Carolina because everybody. Look at me.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
So pretty much it followed all the issues followed down in North Carolina. And when I thought that everything was cool, calm, collective, it wasn't. It ended up going to a situation where the family, all her family members, because she had like half of her family members that was in New York, moved to North Carolina like before we got down there, like years ago, like maybe 2 or 3 years before that. So then by the time I got down here, the fingers being pointed at me in every conversation. If I messed up with a job, why you didn't keep the job? Or if there was a situation, and I didn't talk to these people about the job. It was because the grandmother and her were talking about it. Or, the girl that I was speaking to when we broke up, and I didn't want to break up with the girl, but I had to focus on my kids first. And they knew about that, and they was like, do you still talk about this girl? Do you still call her? And this, that, and the third. And there was a lot of mental frustration behind something that I was trying to fix that wasn't being fixed because they just wanted to cause more division. And after that, after I started seeing that, it put me in an isolated state to where I got quiet at her grandmother's house. I ate a lot. I remember getting fat. I was probably like 100. No, no, I was like 280. 280, 290.
Oh wow.
And it was because I was drinking my problems away. She would have Zinfandel, Red Moscato, and I would drink 3 bottles a day because I was that stressed. I couldn't stand being there. Her grandmother would kick me out whenever she got frustrated with me. It was too much. So it'd be moments where I would literally call my mother in the middle of the night in the closet to try to have a personal conversation with her because her grandmother would literally take the time out to do anything and everything to hear any type of conversation I was having with my personal family. Mind you, I helped this lady out when she fell down a flight of stairs at the Spectrum Stadium and rehabilitated her back to life because she had a scar on her forehead. She split her forehead open and she broke her arm. And I couldn't work due to those situations. Plus, my type 1 diabetic son, she couldn't. She was supposed to be like the babysitter, but how can you babysit when you have all of that happening? So I sacrificed because the mother didn't want to sacrifice; she wanted to work. So I took the approach to go ahead and rehabilitate her and still take care of the kids at the same time. You know what I mean? But going through all of that, being frustrated with that, being away from my kids, and then the girl I was dating, I didn't want to leave from her, but I had to say goodbye to it. It was a lot. It was stressful, highly stressful. I couldn't take it. But at the same time, I knew I made this decision by having these kids with this woman, and I have to man up and be a man about my situation. I could easily just go ahead and do the statistic way value of your typical black man, and be like, I ain't taking care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that.
Well, it's good you didn't, because then you would definitely be in a way worse position. That's for sure. Unfortunately, unfortunately for us as men, we have to stay calm and collected, especially when she's beating us right in front of the cops. Because God forbid if we even move to defend ourselves, we're the bad ones, right? So, in those situations, we really just have to keep pushing on. It's really unfortunate again, but dude, kudos to you, man, because I know, bro, with the mental health stuff I have that's going on right now, and how I have been, I'm a little, I've been dealing with it a little bit better now, as far as handling my outbursts and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, dude, there's no way I'd be able to keep my cool. But I guess you had your kids to think about, and that's probably what kept you calm, right?
No, that didn't keep me. No, no, it didn't keep me cool at all.
what kept you calm?
I wasn't going back to jail.
Oh well,
something I didn't do. You know what I mean? So if I went to jail for something I didn't do and then happen to go for something I did do, it's an oxymoron. No, definitely not.
Yeah. Okay. No,
that's what kept me level-headed. Not only that though, like my past is really from like I said with my father's situation and things that I went through in my past. Like I went to therapy for a long period of time. My mom kept me in therapy. Even if I didn't want to go, she kept me in therapy, and therapy really worked for me. I was going to therapy from what, 7 years old to 18,
Oh
18,
wow,
17.
really? That's
Yeah, yeah. So, and I still go to therapy. I mean, I know that they're promoting it a lot more now, but BetterHelp.
I used to
That's
go
where I was going
to
to.
I used to use BetterHelp. Um,
Yeah.
and I had a bad experience. I'm glad you had a good experience. I typically don't really recommend therapy, specifically because I know it's just like it's talking to a stranger, and a lot of people aren't good with talking to strangers, especially with someone who doesn't really know the situation, and if and someone who has never really been in the situation. So I get that, but I'm glad it worked out for you. How did how did that you said it worked for you? How in what ways did it work for you, dude?
Well, therapy, in a lot of ways, if like I said, if it comes to a certain place where therapy is, like, you don't got the right person, you can always switch. And that's not even with BetterHelp. Just that's just in general, because any therapist that you go to, they have people who like adjust to you, so you don't have to stay in one spot. Like that was one thing that I had too. There was people I didn't really feel comfortable with, that I felt like it didn't work, and then it clicked with the right people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, and therapy is not always about negative things too, because some people don't know how to process when good things happen as well. So it's
That's true.
like it's kind of like having somebody that you can literally talk to, that doesn't know you from a can of paint, that can't judge you for the situation or some type of backlash. It's really just reinterpreting what you're doing and how you're doing things, and finding tools for like when things go wrong. So like for me, um, therapy for me, just talking to certain people, talking to the first doctor that I had, really worked out, as far as like just getting to know me and really trying to like figure my mindset out. You know what I mean? And once he figured out where the anger was coming from, where the frustration was coming from, you know, all that was reciprocated to me in a different angle that I couldn't see. And when I saw that, then I was like, okay, this is why this is happening. This is why I'm acting the way I'm acting. You know,
Yeah.
and then for the therapy with the mother of my kids, when everything, the bad situation that really happened later on down the line, is because I had, she pretty much, walked out on me, did some wrong, whatever the case may be. And long story short, she wanted to be with somebody else. She didn't know how to really say it the way she needed to. She pretty much broke me mentally. You know what I mean? She was still going out with the guy. That, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about that episode, because I want to really break that
No,
whole thing down.
save it for your channel, bro. Save it for your channel.
But long story short, like, what happened was my best friend named Jeremy, may he rest in peace. He was somebody who I would look up to for guidance, because he went through the same thing. Like, he ended up catching his wife in the middle of the act of the situation, like
Oh,
literally while they
really?
were having intercourse.
Oh,
Um,
oh, dude.
and
Yeah, I would have lost it. I would have lost it,
Yeah,
100%.
and and they had two kids together. Don't get me wrong, Jeremy wasn't a perfect dude. You know what I'm saying? But he would tell you that. You know what I'm saying? He would
Yeah.
tell you he wasn't a perfect person. I always worried about him. So what happened was, when it happened to me, because it happened to him first.
Yeah.
And then when it happened to me, I moved back to New York City, but I would call him for advice about a lot of situations. And because there was moments when things got so bad, I wouldn't want to get on a train. I had, certain tendencies that I felt personally that could have happened if
Mhm.
I didn't get therapy. That's where my calling with God came from. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I literally saw demons. You know what I mean? And from that point on, I changed my whole demeanor. I changed my whole character. And then what happened with Jeremy was, which I didn't expect for him I didn't expect for nothing to happen to him, because he seemed so strong minded. He gave me guidance. He gave me motivation to, like, I could finally go on a train at times, and I didn't feel bad. If I spoke to him, it felt better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And long story short, I got a call on a Friday. I spoke to him on a Monday, and my homegirl Zakia, she hits me up on a Friday, and I'm basically just chilling, minding my business, doing orders. Money's going, like, and this is like, money's finally going good. I'm a little bit different of a change man from Jeremy helping me. It got me back to trucking, because I wasn't trucking for a while, and it got me back to trucking, got me back on my P's and Q's. And then all of a sudden, Zakia hits me up and she's like crying, so I didn't know what was going on. And then I was like, Zakia, what's the matter? And she's like, Jeremy's dead. And I'm like, what you talking about? Jeremy's dead? I just spoke to Jeremy like Monday. He seemed like he was fine, and pretty much he overdosed, and they found him, laid out in the house, and I couldn't believe it. I kept calling his phone, and it was true, and it ripped me into pieces because that was somebody who I would talk to everything with, and it was kind of like unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But but by that situation, it was like it came to a channel of where everything that I worked for came back full circle because he was like my therapist at one point. But then at the same time, he wasn't my therapist because he didn't go the way he was supposed to go of what I thought he was going to do. Because a lot of people who break up out of marriages or break up out of long term relationships, it really goes bad. And I was in one of those. So that day really changed me. And it's on my album. You know what I'm saying? You can check my second album, Come As You Are. I talk about this. Pretty much I was literally, I gave up. It was about 3 a.m. in the morning and I couldn't sleep. I was literally tossing and turning from like 10 to that time. And I remember getting to the bathroom and I just was like, this is it. Like, I can't do it no more. On top of that, the mother of my kids was like trying to garnish more money out of me, trying to take me for child support, but she couldn't find me because, she was getting paid, but I wasn't paying her through the right steps because, again, like, that's another story, right? So, but she was getting paid, right? And I was just like, I can't deal with this no more. I'm still living underneath my mother's house. She has everything. She got the money, the new guy. She got the kids. She can feed them every day. I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm pretty much homeless for 5 years. Sleeping on the couch, and that feeling of having to wake up and see your mom in the morning. Yeah, she's happy that you're home, but then after a while, that starts getting a little bit repetitive, and things change over time. Even though she was still strong-minded, she was still positive about it. But I just was just like, this is it. I can't deal with this no more. I don't know how to function. I've been at my mother's house since I was 18, 19 years old with my own apartment. So for me having to be relying on her, it really destroyed me. And I was like, this is it for me. I don't want to do it anymore. I said, God, if you're real at this point, then I need a sign or something because I can't no more. And that's when I felt the room shake in the bathroom, but the room ain't shaking. You know what I mean? And I could see something on the peripherals of my left corner, my cornea of my eye, but it's not you could turn and see it, and it's not this dark image, something that's spinning in a continuum but staying in the same spot at the same time. And I felt it, and then once I saw it, I was like, okay, this is crazy. And I was like, God, and then I remember I got on my knees and I was like, God, I see it. I don't really want the situation no more. And then I felt that same demonic demon piece of energy shift to my shoulders, like it was pushing me down. And that's when I cried to the highest bidder. And I was like, I'm going to follow you. I know I'm not perfect. I'm going to do the best I can. But I'm follow you, Jesus, at this point because there's nothing else I'm going to do because I know the way I can go right now. Oh, it's real. It's definitely real. And everything changed. It just, like I said, it wasn't like a fast situation. It wasn't like something that just, everything just started changing. Boom, 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 boom. No. You know what I'm saying? The energy left, and I'm crying. I'm bawling. I thought that I would have woke everybody up and nobody got up, which was weird. Well, it was weird. Like, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs and nobody heard me in the house.
Wow. Really?
I thought somebody was going to say, hey, you all right? Nobody heard me. And pretty much from that point on, I felt this sense of peace. Like, slow. It was small. It wasn't big. It was small. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And once that situation happened, I let that peace and I let that situation continuously grow within me from that point on. And it went from me being on my mother's couch for 5 years to now I got my house. I got a fiance. I got my kids, got custody of my kids last year. I'm playing on child support right now, and my kids is completely happy, and we're a great family. So, like I said, if it wasn't for the glory of God at that point, I would still be in the same spot I was before. And I went back into trucking. So it was just like all these things just reconnected, and it reconnected in a different way for my life.
And
Like
you're
from
also a
that point
growing
on,
rapper
like
too. You know, you're also a very talented rapper.
yeah,
Your career, I'm telling
thank
you,
you,
man, it's gonna be really soon that you're gonna start. I mean, dude, you're gonna take off, man.
thank you.
Here
I
pretty
appreciate
soon.
that.
So, I mean, dude.
I'll be honest, but that. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, you stuck with it, man. You really did. Especially when you had nothing left, you gave just a little bit more. You know, you went past your limit and kept going. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just what being, a man is all about. Is even when the world is against you, even when the people that say they love you the most is against you, you're still doing what you have to do to keep pushing through just to the next day. And that takes courage, man. It really does. And I'm proud of you for that one, dude.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, the reason why I push the way I do for two reasons. Um, Anybody who was pretty much a hero of my life, and my brother can vouch for that too, because we had a lot of people we looked up to, and pretty much they all left us behind. You know what I mean? When we needed them most, they decided to go the wayside and not the right way, and be a hero. And it made me realize, and I tell my son this all the time. I say when it comes when it comes to being a hero is not a person that always wears a cape. A hero is a person who has to make the choices, even if it's tough, and have to abide by those for the greater tomorrow. And
Yep.
sometimes those situations is hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it makes it so much better in the long end, even if nobody else sees it. You know what I mean? And there's moments where things get tough, things get hard, things get difficult. But you only, like I said, still sharp and still. You become a strong person behind it, and you become more wise. And I just follow that path. And as far as the music thing is concerned, I appreciate that. Honestly, that's what made me fall back. And honestly, that's where that album came from. The album came from all of that. That made me fall in love in life with life again, and I treated it as a female. So that's really why
Hmm.
that album came out the way it did, which is
That's
it's called
interesting.
Out of This World, Core187. It is 2.5 million on Spotify and
Mm-hmm.
250,000 streams on Apple Music. If you guys want to check that out, the sound is not your typical sound. I don't really recommend a lot of the other music I put out recently. Those were just like throwaways. But if you really want to hear a good classic album, I would definitely say the first one, because the first one really, like, I was in my bag, and I'm making a sequel of that as we speak. But yeah, the first album is just a classic. I mean, and like it's a tune of Black Eyed Peas, Marvin Gaye, what else? We also have some Daft Punk, and then I also have a song which is Shooting Star, which was one of the biggest songs that I did. Uh, I just, like I said, I enjoy creating, and I don't like painting inside the box. I like to see what's outside and try to do something completely different and out of the norm. So if you're thinking it's going to be your typical rap album, no, it is not.
I think that's the link. Guys, I just sent you the link. I believe to his page on Spotify. I'm pretty sure that's the page. If it's not, please let me know, and I can try and get that for you guys.
Oh, and
Um,
shout out to you for your 300 subscribers too.
but hey, man, the family's growing, man. I appreciate that.
No problem.
The whole we all know that this culture just isn't working out. You know, men hate women,
Right.
women hate men. Democrats hate Republicans, Republicans hate the Democrats. We're all at each other's throats, and the unfortunate part
Right.
about it is that um, we're just average people tearing ourselves apart, and we're not really
Mm,
looking at what the real issues are. I
correct.
actually just saw a post from um, what's his name, Andrew. Uh, anyways, you know the guy from Um, the whatever podcast, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw him pretty much say that it's not men that are that's the problem. It's the women. Look, everyone wants to share. Everyone is to blame for where we're at now. Um,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
weak men let toxic women run amok, and you
That is
know
true too.
exactly. The reason why we're in the situation where we are is because weak men allowed it to be so. And
Hmm.
men aren't anywhere where they need to be. Women aren't anywhere where they need to be, and unfortunately, it's just one big whole shit show. Right? We're just not asking
Yeah,
the right
it is.
questions. Is how did we get here, and what can we do to fix it? And that's
Picking the wrong. Well, I think it's just picking the wrong things. You know what I mean?
it's picking the wrong
It's
what.
like looking at a. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's picking the wrong what.
Can you hear me? Oh, it's picking the wrong characteristics. Meaning, like, if you went to a car dealership and they tell you get what you can afford, and I'm not trying to compare a female to a car. I'm talking about the specs as far as just understanding. If you gotta, if they're telling you this Honda, say this Honda Accord is good on gas, it's gas efficient. You ain't got to worry about it. It's going to last you a long time compared to you want to go ahead and get a Ferrari, a price, got to pay all this extra money for just to try to make it look good or just to make it seem like you look good in the same token. It's the reason why a lot of us fall short because we'd rather go for that high price looking female that causes nothing but toxic and mayhem and spending all your money compared to a woman that's just like, she'd rather go ahead and just take a walk out in the park and have a picnic with you and then literally just have a conversation or do Bible study. Small things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those things matter compared to the big things, and a lot of us fall short for that. We want, I'm just being honest. We want the girl with the big jugs. We want the girl that stands out. We want all of this, that, and the third. Then you realize it
Yeah.
really don't mean nothing. Like it really don't.
Yeah.
It
What
don't.
what a
It
lot
don't.
what
Listen.
dude we
Yeah.
focus so much. We focus so much on the materialism. We focus so much on the surface level
Right.
things. Um,
Right.
it's I mean, what's more important, right? Short term validation or long term satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? Um, for men, look, boys, you got to look for a woman that is going to be a part of the team, not someone who's going
Right.
to compete with you, right? And um, for the ladies, you gotta make sure you find a guy that is capable of leading you in the right direction, right?
That's right.
Don't just give this man everything right off the bat because he gives you the tingles.
Right.
Don't also give this guy everything right off the bat too because he's hot, right? Um,
Yep.
and so start thinking long term about things. Where do you see each other going in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see a family? Do you see a future? Right. Um,
Right.
and that's something that you have to build towards and work towards, but also understand that there's also one leader of the house, right, and everyone else follows, and that's typically the man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so um, we've flipped that on its head, you know, in
Society's
this.
done that.
Yeah, yeah, sure has, man. And then it's also the materialistic stuff too. What can I get out of someone?
Right.
Everyone
Right.
does that these days. Everybody does,
Yeah. Nobody
unfortunately.
come like. No, it's true. And like because I'm a mutt, so I'm black, native, and Irish and white. So, but my native culture, we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm two different types. I'm Cherokee and Blackfoot, and
Oh, word.
pretty much, yeah. My father was Blackfoot, my mother's Cherokee.
I'm from
Um,
Crete. I'm from Crete and Cherokee.
oh, nice. And so, I mean, if you know how the natives work, it's more of we are helping hand with each other. You know what I mean? Like we don't ask to provide. We just come with what we have, and then we work together as a team with that situation. Not off the rip of what can you do for me type mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and it's unfortunate that this day and age is more of baby me, take care of me, and let that be the process. And I'll do all these things for you. But if something goes wrong and it's too many times of something small, not even nothing big, I don't know if we could deal. I don't know if I could deal with this person anymore. It's an easy cutthroat situation. It's like it ain't no different from somebody going to a gym for so long and then that gym has one small thing that happened to it and it's like, oh, I can't deal with this gym anymore. I'm going to another gym, but you had years with this gym already.
Yeah.
You think the gym was going to be perfect? It's just like the situation that happened with Target recently, and everybody's like, "I'm not going to Target." Okay, yeah. What store hasn't had any type of background? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, okay, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's happened, but you want to stop going because of that situation? No,
Yeah.
it gotta be fixed.
Yeah.
But people don't want that in relationships in this day and age. They want they want a fast demand and they want a fast grab. And if it doesn't work the way they want to, then they're out the door. That's not real love.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you'll have somebody that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be shooting shots at the mother of my kids. But, if you're outside and you keep trying to find love in all the wrong places and you're going on 40 years old, still doing the same thing, how much more time do you have left? You are not in your 20s anymore.
Right. That's true. That's true. And women have a lot more strict of a biological clock than what men do. So,
Right,
they have to they have to act within that window. Um,
right,
yeah, there's something that I also kind of wanted to point out too is that and that's extended family. And this is kind of what this really relates to your story too. And when you were talking about how your the parents of your ex were treating you, really trying to start some shit. Um,
yeah,
yeah, so it's not necessarily who you're marrying or who you're getting together with. It's the family,
right,
right? And
right,
so because the family is going to have a massive influence on whoever you're getting together with. And
right,
so that's something to pay very close attention to. Um,
right,
and whenever you guys do get into a relationship, pay attention to the parents, specifically the father. How is the father treated, and how does the father treat the family? Right?
right,
Does the family function as it should? Right? Does it,
right,
and if it doesn't, those are some really big red flags because that'll tell you. No,
right,
it's not going to be 100% guaranteed, but it's going to tell you a lot about how someone is going to react with you should you build a family with them.
right,
And so yeah, I used to be in that kind of situation, but as the kid, you know, when my mom's ex husband, all of us we went to family gatherings like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. We would
right,
always get the really shitty presents, and all the other kids would get the better presents, right? And
right,
then they would verbally abuse the shit out of my mom, and so it was just a bad environment to be in.
mm-hmm.
And growing up and realizing and seeing that for what it is now as an adult, it's just something I don't want to be around, and
Right,
um, but so sometimes in your situation, like yours, you don't have a choice,
right,
because sometimes we don't have anywhere else to go. I used to live on my not my mom's couch, but when I divorced and separated from the Air Force on the same day, and drove down here 30 hours almost. I didn't have anywhere to go either, and so I had to live literally in my mother's living room. I didn't have a
right,
space for myself, and I know um, how much of a defeated feeling that is. Especially as someone in my mid 20s. I'm 28 now, but Um,
That's what's
someone
up, man.
in my mid 20s, I'm just like I shouldn't be in this position. I should have my own place by now, and so I get
Yeah,
that.
it takes time.
It does. It does, and I actually I have my own place now. Um,
Nice.
and everything's good, just annoying the shit out of my dog every day, and and talking with you
Right.
guys and helping you guys out every way that I can. But how are you doing on time, Corey? We're a little bit past 8.
Yeah, I gotta get going soon. My brother came down from New York, so I gotta go check him. I haven't seen him in about 2 years.
Oh yeah, dude. Hop off here and go hang out with him.
Yeah.
Family is incredibly important, man. And anytime that you can get with them, bro, you better get time in with them. So, but thanks,
Yep,
man.
definitely.
Thanks, man, for coming on. If you want to tell anything else, man, all you gotta do is just hit me up, bro. You always know I'm here.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me join the live. We'll get more of the situations in order. Definitely, you guys, I appreciate it. Definitely go ahead, rock out with the channel. Let more people know about figuring it out's channel. Get more people involved with what he has going on. Keep pushing for him. He's at 300. Let's push it up to 1,000. Let's keep pushing up those numbers for him. Let's get him out there as much as possible.
It's all about all of us coming together and showing some love and figuring everything out together, right, man? So, thanks, man,
Yep.
for joining again. If you need me for anything, just hit me up, dude. So, guys, before Corey hops off, man, make sure you guys go over to his channel, check him out, show him some love, give him a bunch of likes, give him a bunch of subs, and listen to what he has to say. He has a lot to say, guys. So, appreciate you, Corey, man. Again, just hit me up if you need anything, all right, man.
Thanks, man.
No problem, bub. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace.
Bye. All right, guys. So, gonna hang out with you guys for a couple of minutes after Corey left there. Um, so, um, he's been through a lot, and unfortunately, a lot of guys these days, we have to be the ones who have to push through um, anything and everything to just make it through the next day. Because listen, and this is the truth. This may prick some people's hearts, but it's the absolute truth. Men do not get the same support network that women do, and so whatever we go through, we have to suck it up and just keep pushing through. And I'm telling you guys, a lot of the times that gets really really dark. It really does, and so when someone has something to say who has been through those kinds of situations, really listen to what they have to say because they know what they know what they're talking about, right? Um, and so Corey, man, look, you dude, you're brave, man, for coming on here. Not and it's not just starting YouTube and putting your face out there, right? But it's also coming onto someone else's channel and telling your story there, um, and just dealing with the potential backlash of that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be backlash for something, but um, just you know. Muscling the courage to tell your story like that, especially with how grim it can be. It's rough, but I really appreciate Corey for telling his story. And guys, just so you guys are also more than welcome to tell your own story, and whatever story it is, maybe it's um, a victim of maybe you're a victim of multi-level marketing. Maybe you are one of the vaccine refusals from the military, such as I was. Maybe you had your heart broken by a man or a woman, or whatever the case may be. You're always welcome to come and tell your story here. I welcome everyone. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what sexual orientation you claim to be. I don't care. What I care about is right here in the heart. That's what I care about. And so any way I can help you guys, that's what I'm gonna do. Right. Um, and so I haven't put out a whole lot of anti multi-level marketing stuff here recently, and I've been trying to do more of that. And so, if you guys happen to know anyone, or if you have experienced um, any kind of multi-level marketing stuff, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to, share your story, because there's a lot of people that want to tell their story, but unfortunately, a lot of the anti-MLM community, as I have noticed, um, not really fond of each other for whatever reason. But just know that coming here, we figure out life together, and so I want to provide not just a channel to you, but a home, right? And so just know that you're always welcome here. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I want to go ahead and do some editing, because unfortunately there was quite a while of technical difficulties, and we just kind of had to do it off the phone and on open speaker. But as I get more technically savvy, I'll be sure to um, do it a little bit better next time. So sorry again, guys, for the technical issues. I'll edit that stuff out, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But after I release the live here, I would definitely go back to the beginning of the story, because obviously joining a story from the middle or the ending isn't really going to be. You're going to have a lot of questions, right? So just make sure you join or you watch from the beginnings, just so you know. But oh no, don't worry about it, man. You're fine. You're fine. You know, this it doesn't matter if you join live or not. What does matter is that you learn something from the story. You get something from it. And this is something that you can use to apply to your own life, to better your own life. And so it doesn't matter if you join late or if you join at all, just as long as you get the information, because if where we can help one person, that's better than helping nothing, right? Or helping no one, right? So I'm glad you got I'm glad you found it and that you're here. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad you're here. Um, but don't feel guilty as though you should have been here all along. People have lives, man. People have lives, so I'm not expecting you to drop everything and turn YouTube on just because I let you know I'm live. So, but I really appreciate you. I've been watching, man. You've been pretty consistent throughout quite a bit of the live. So shout out to you, Fredzilla. I appreciate you, man. um, you know, it's really uplifting. When I have I really don't like to say subscribe or anything like that, because I think it's too distant, right? So listen, I appreciate you. Um, you're incredible. You're incredible. So I'm going to consider you a family member, because that's the purpose of the channel here. And I just hope that you stick around, and I hope that what we talk about here on the channel just helps you, and whoever comes across this information, just that it really helps. Because that's the whole point. I just want to help people, whether they be veterans, or not, victims of multi-level marketing or not, just whoever, especially men right now. Men need help. They really do. And it started off as a men's channel. It did start off that way, but has since turned into something else, and so again, wherever we can help people, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm not gonna keep rambling on. I like to do that. So if you need me for anything, I say this in every single video. If you need me for anything, just please reach out. Okay, my contact information is on my homepage. So if you ever need anything, just reach out. Okay, I strongly believe in an open door policy, and so I just I don't care what time of day it is. I'm here for whoever I can be, and so just if you need that, right? If you need that, please take it. Because I know how much it means. When you're having a breakdown, and you just need someone there. You really need someone there. I know how much it means. So you're always welcome. But that being said, guys, just so I don't keep you, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here in just a couple of seconds. But please, 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 please remember to take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We just hit 300 family members. As Corey said a while ago, that's super incredible. The family is growing. It is growing, and I'm loving it. Oh, you're in the Navy? Okay. Oh, okay. Norfolk, huh? That's crazy. Yeah, man. I'm prior Air Force, so and I was also military police. So I know two kinds of lives, right? Law enforcement and um, military life. Unfortunately, when it came to security forces, I know I said I was going to end, but I've got to respond to this. Um, um, the when it came to security forces, there were three big roles, pretty much in the career field, and that was law enforcement, it was security, and it was also ground combat, right? And so a lot of the times when we deployed, we were attached to army units, doing outside the wire stuff, and so a lot of that was difficult to do, difficult to deal with. Um, but I do have a Discord. I mean, if you want that Discord, just let me know. There, I actually have a private Discord for other veterans too, and sometimes we go and we game. I think we play a little bit of Ghost Recon, so that's really fun. Um, but I do have a Discord for veterans to try and help people, deal with transitioning and all stuff and all that kind of stuff too. And so, I said you're, I know you're still in, but, um, um, you know, I can still relate to you even though you're in, because I've been through the life. You're still in the life, and so, um, just just know you always have a home away from home, okay, and that's definitely here. So, um, whenever you need me, just reach out, man. So. But thank you for opening up to me. I really appreciate you, and thank you for your service. I thank you so much for that. I may have gotten kicked out because I refused the vaccine, but I still have honor and respect for those who are going in for the right reasons, obviously. To serve others. Um, but thank you, thank you. I hope you guys had a great Fourth of July. Um, I don't really deal well with Fourth of July season. I I don't like anyways. Just some PTSD stuff. Um, but yeah, yeah, you guys always have me in your corner. I don't know who else is either a veteran or still in, but just know you guys have me. That being said, guys, um, I want to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for watching all the way through. or at least joining whenever you could and stayed with it. I appreciate you guys so much. Um, please, again, remember to take care of yourselves, both mind and body. Um, Everything starts here, okay? If you take nothing from this live stream here, everything is here, okay? This is the battle. This is the battle right here, all right? Um, you cannot, you can hardly do anything if this isn't willing to fight, right? And so, um, yeah, we are, we are, we are. Absolutely. Yeah, go eat dinner, man. I'm not gonna hold you up. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you. And take care. Again, if you need me for anything, just let me know. Um, but I still have another family member here. Um, Mind, okay. It's most of the battles in the mind. So make sure if you're having some kind of mental stuff going on up here, you can talk to somebody. And just as I told Fredzilla here, um, you can always reach out to me. I have an open door policy. Okay, so um, don't feel shy. Don't feel discouraged. If there's anything you want to tell me, a story, or um, you just need to talk to someone, I'm here. I'm absolutely here. My email is in the should be in the main page, so just go over there and check that out. Um, but also, it's not just in the mind too, but it's also physical as well. I've been dealing with a lot of mental health stuff here recently. Well, I mean, for a long time now, I've been dealing with mental health stuff, PTSD, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. But I'm still getting up. You know, I'm still getting up and I'm still getting active. Okay, activity, physical activity, really helps. Okay, and so just get active of some kind. Um, but look after each other too. Okay, make sure you look after each other because, again, it doesn't it doesn't matter what time it is that you need someone, right? Because you're going to need someone at a certain point of time. Um, and again, I know how much it means when when you need someone and someone is there. And so just lift each other up. Don't be that person that um, regrets not calling someone when they thought they should call someone. So just make sure you're lifting someone up, okay? Because that's the whole point of the channel here is to come together, figure things out, and lift each other up, right? To change the culture from this toxic hellscape that it is, and turn it into something, great. And so, that being said, guys, thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate you, and those of you who have, for those of you who are joining now, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you all have a lovely day. Again, if you need me for anything, just reach out. Just reach out. Again, I have an open door policy, and you guys are welcome to use it. So, thank you so much for joining.